Cinema, in its purest form, was the silent era. Black and white silent films captivated the world. Then came sound.
In the electrical recording of sound, there is employed a pickup microphone.
Then came TV, and then came color. Color was great, but it almost obliterated the art of black and white cinematography. We can't see in black and white. It's another world. That's what makes it even more special. So let's take the color down to 0, adjust the contrast and brightness, and pretend that some things are just better in black and white. In 1971, director Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show was released into theaters and became a huge critical and commercial success. The Last Picture Show was adapted from the semi-autobiographical 1966 novel of the same name by acclaimed Texas author Larry McMurtry. The story was simple, yet powerful in its execution. Set in a small town in northern Texas from November 1951 to October 1952, it told the story of 2 high school seniors and longtime friends Sonny Crawford, played by Timothy Bottoms, and Dwayne Jackson, played by Jeff Bridges. Sybil Shepherd's character of J.C. is the obsession of the high school boys, and just one of many characters in the small town that threatens to destroy their relationship. The town itself is also a character in the film that threatens their friendship in ways they can't see coming. The film's ensemble cast also includes Ellen Burstyn, Ben Johnson, Randy Quaid, and Cloris Leachman. Before production began, Bogdanovich discussed his film with Orson Welles, who was one of Bogdanovich's cinematic heroes. Welles suggested that perhaps he shoot the film in black and white. Peter agreed and thought that it would work for the film aesthetically, but at the time, it was not a popular choice. The film was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for Johnson and Bridges, and Best Supporting Actress for Burstyn and Leachman, with Johnson and Leachman both winning. In 1998, the Library of Congress selected the film for preservation in the United States National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Author Larry McMurtry, throughout the years, has written several follow-up books to The Last Picture Show, the first of which was Texasville. Whereas The Last Picture Show focused more on the character of Sonny, played by Bottoms, this story focuses more on the Jeff Bridges character of Dwayne. McMurtry fans know of the novels, but fans of cinema who often celebrate The Last Picture Show often dismiss or even don't even know of Texasville's existence. By the time it was released in 1990, it came and went so quickly that it barely even registered, despite the entire returning cast and director. Texasville was shot in color. Because of the time of its making, the career of Peter Bogdanovich was not what you would call in vogue anymore. He was struggling for relevance, and since the movie took place in present day, it just made more sense at the time to have it be filmed in color. But having some years of perspective, it is a film that, in my opinion, when viewed back-to-back with its predecessor, works better in black and white. Part of the power of The Last Picture Show was its black and white photography by legendary award-winning cinematographer Robert Surtees. His credits include The Graduate, Oklahoma, and the stone-cold black and white classic The Bad and the Beautiful. Surtees had long since retired and passed away by the time Texasville came to fruition. Taking his place was cinematographer Nicholas Joseph von Sternberg, whose resume is possibly the complete opposite of Surtees, with dozens of low-budget B-movies such as Dolomite and Tourist Trap. So to compare The Last Picture Show's compositions to Texasville's, it's just not a fair fight, honestly. However, Sternberg does an adequate job in capturing the landscapes of West Texas, and occasionally captures the magic of Surtees. At the time of its release, Texasville was a huge disappointment both critically and commercially. One of the reasons for this was that in 1990, The Last Picture Show had not been available on home video because of a music rights issue. So unless you saw the film during its release in 1971, or maybe a re-release somewhere, it was impossible to jump into Texasville with any knowledge of who these characters were. And Bogdanovich doesn't offer a recap either. He pushes forward from shot one, and if you didn't see the previous movie, you will probably be completely lost. I had seen the film when it came out in 1990, but I had no knowledge of the Last Picture Show when I saw it, so for me it fell completely flat. For example, at the end of the Last Picture Show, the character of Sonny is left alone in this small town, all of his friends gone, and suffers a personal trauma that would quite possibly render someone with some level of PTSD. And in Texasville, without the prior knowledge of said incident, this character is rather odd and seems out of place in the narrative, but paired with the Last Picture Show makes complete sense. In black and white, there is also continuity that gets lost in color in my opinion. There is a break when going from Picture Show's stark black and white to Texasville's bright color palette. It feels alien and off-putting. This film deserves a second chance. The tone is decidedly different this time, with the focus more on Dwayne's chaotic return to town and his seemingly never-ending midlife crisis that is the heart of the film. And much like the first movie, Sybil Shepherd's character of JC is the tuning fork that can calm or disturb the whole trajectory of the main characters. Having seen Texasville when I was 17, I didn't get it. It was about characters in their 40s and 50s having regrets about being able to move forward in their life. That just wasn't me when I saw it. It makes a lot more sense to me now than ever, since I am finally the age of those characters. Watching it again in black and white, I think it ties in ways back to the Last Picture Show, which maybe audiences couldn't do in 1990 because of the color, and its predecessor being unavailable for reference. In a very ironic move, Texasville is now almost impossible to find. There are some VHS copies of it, and even a DVD release of it, but it is long out of print, so copies of it can go for a pretty penny. And it's not as of this writing on streaming anywhere either. I was able to track down a Blu-ray release of it in France. However, this release is region-coded, so you will need a region-free Blu-ray player in order to watch it. It is a good transfer, and even has a French documentary on the impact the film has had since its release. Sometimes it will pop up on YouTube from time to time, but it's usually a bootleg VHS or DVD quality copy. There is also a fantastic 1-hour documentary called Picture This by documentary filmmaker George Hickenlooper on DVD, which is also hard to find. It details the making of both films while Hickenlooper lived on the set of Texasville and had access to all the actors. It's a fascinating little film that was produced by Timothy Bottoms as part of his deal to return for Texasville. I was able to track down a DVD of it on Amazon. Texasville is a quality follow-up to The Last Picture Show. It has a great cast and a perfect performance by Jeff Bridges. Peter Bogdanovich has said that the film, although inspired by the novel, also contains elements of his own life at the time, which also adds another level of interest for cinephiles. It's not perfect, and it's not as groundbreaking as its predecessor was. At the end of The Last Picture Show, you are left wondering, what happened to all these characters? And in Texasville, you get that chance to catch up with them and find out where life has led all of them. It's an enjoyable follow-up, and it's even better in black and white.